Welcome. I'm truly grateful that you are here with me in this quiet moment, wherever you are right now, whether you are lying in bed, sitting in the dim glow of a lamp, or simply trying to escape the noise of a long and tiring day. I want you to know something very gently. You did not arrive at this moment by accident. I like to imagine that moments like this are like soft footsteps in the night. They come silently, without forcing us, without demanding anything. They simply appear and invite us to rest. And tonight, I am here to walk with you into that peaceful silence. Before we begin, I want to welcome you from my heart to this calm space we have created together. This is not just a video. It is a small refuge, a place where nothing is expected from you. You do not need to perform. You do not need to fix anything. And you certainly do not need to carry the weight you have been holding all day. If you are new here, I want to gently invite you to become part of this quiet community. You can subscribe so that whenever life feels heavy, whenever the world feels too loud, you will always know where to return. To a place of stillness, stories, and soft wisdom. And if you feel comfortable, stay with me until the end of this journey tonight, because, like a slow sunset, this experience is meant to unfold gently, step now. Take a slow breath, not a forced breath, just a natural, soft one. As I speak, I want you to begin noticing something simple. The way your body feels right now. Perhaps there's tension in your shoulders. Perhaps your mind is still replaying conversations, worries, or memories that hurt a little more than you expected. I understand that feeling very well. There was a time in my own life when I carried pain so quietly that even the people closest to me never noticed. I would smile during the day, speak normally, do everything that was expected of me. But at night, when everything became silent, the weight inside me would grow louder. It wasn't one single thing that hurt me. It was many small things, regrets I couldn't change, words I wished I had never said, and memories that kept returning like waves that refused to stop. For a long time, I believed something was wrong with me. I thought maybe I was simply weak because I couldn't move on the way others seemed to do so easily. I tried to ignore my feelings. I tried to distract myself. I tried to force happiness. But pain does not disappear when we fight it. It only hides and waits. One night, I remember sitting alone in the darkness, feeling completely exhausted. Not physically exhausted, but emotionally tired in a way that felt much deeper. It felt as if my mind had been running for years without ever stopping. That night, something very simple happened. I stopped trying to fix myself. I stopped trying to solve every problem. I stopped asking, Why am I like this? And instead, I simply sat there, breathing slowly, allowing myself to feel everything without judgment. It was uncomfortable at first, very uncomfortable. But slowly, something surprising began to happen. The pain didn't disappear instantly, but it softened. It became quieter. It felt less like a storm and more like a passing cloud. That was the first time I truly understood something that changed my life forever. We do not heal by forcing ourselves to let go. We heal by learning how to hold our pain gently until it naturally releases its grip on us. Tonight, I want this space to become that same gentle place for you. Don't need to push your feelings away. You don't need to solve everything. You don't need to pretend that you are okay. All you need to do is stay here. Listen softly, breathe slowly, and allow yourself to rest. As this journey continues, I will share quiet stories, peaceful reflections, and gentle wisdom designed to help you release what hurts, little by little, without effort. So, if you are comfortable, allow your eyes to relax. Let your breathing become slower. Let the weight of the day slowly melt away from your body, and remember this simple truth as we begin. Nothing you are feeling right now is wrong. Your tiredness is not wrong. Your sadness is not wrong. Even the pain you carry is not wrong. It is simply a part of being human. And just like all things in life, it will pass. So stay with me now, in this calm and quiet moment. We are going to walk together into a deeper stillness, one gentle breath at a time. There was a time when I believed that letting go meant losing something important. I used to think it meant giving up, surrendering, or admitting defeat. The very idea of releasing what hurt me felt frightening, because a part of me believed that if I let go, I would also lose the memories, the meaning, and even pieces of myself that were tied to that pain. So I held on to old words people had said to me. I held on to mistakes I had made years ago. I held on to moments that I wished had turned out differently. And without realizing it, I carried all of these things with me every single day, like invisible stones in a bag that kept growing heavier. What I didn't understand back then was that suffering is not only caused by what happens to us, it is caused by how tightly we hold on to what has already passed. One evening, when my mind felt especially restless, I found myself sitting quietly, watching my own thoughts the way someone might watch clouds moving slowly across the sky. I noticed something surprising. Every painful thought had one thing in common. It was always about something that was no longer happening. A memory, a fear of the future, or a story I kept repeating to myself about who I believed I was. None of it existed in that moment, and yet it controlled how I felt. That realization was both gentle and powerful. It made me begin to see something that ancient wisdom has always quietly taught. Pain is natural, but clinging to pain is what creates suffering. Think about holding a handful of sand. If you hold it softly, it rests peacefully in your palm. But the moment you tighten your grip, the sand begins slipping away between your fingers. The tighter you hold, the more you lose, and the more tension you feel. Our minds work in the same way. When we cling tightly to what hurts us, whether it is regret, anger, or sadness, we do not protect ourselves. We actually deepen our suffering. At first, this idea felt difficult for me to accept. I thought, if I let go of my pain, does that mean what happened to me didn't matter? But over time, I realized something very comforting. Letting go does not mean forgetting. It does not mean pretending nothing happened. And it does not mean that your experiences were unimportant. Letting go simply means you stop carrying the weight of those experiences in your present moment. It means you allow yourself to breathe again. Imagine walking 4 miles while carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. At first, you might not notice how heavy it is, but as time passes, your shoulders ache, your back tightens, and every step becomes harder. Now imagine slowly placing that backpack down. The road ahead remains the same. Your past does not disappear, but suddenly, walking becomes lighter. Your breath becomes deeper, and you realize that the burden you were carrying was never meant to be carried forever. This is the heart of letting go. It is not an act of force. It is an act of understanding. I remember the first time I truly practiced this in my own life. A painful memory kept returning to me again and again. No matter how much I tried to distract myself, it would appear in quiet moments, especially at night. One evening, instead of pushing it away, I did something different. I allowed the memory to come. I let it sit with me like a visitor. I noticed the feelings it created in my body, the tightness in my chest, the heaviness in my stomach, the way my breathing became shallow. And then, instead of judging myself for feeling this way, I whispered something simple inside my mind. It is okay. You are allowed to feel this. Something softened immediately, not because the memory disappeared, but because I stopped fighting it. That was the moment I understood that resistance is often what keeps pain alive. When we resist what we feel, we give it more energy. We trap ourselves in a silent struggle that never truly ends. But when we allow our experiences to exist without resistance, they begin to change naturally. They move. They shift. They fade. just like waves in the ocean. No wave lasts forever. No storm stays in the sky permanently. And no feeling, no matter how intense, remains unchanged. Another quiet truth I discovered was that much of our suffering comes from trying to control things that are impossible to control. We try to control how others treat us. We try to control how life unfolds. We try to control outcomes that have not even happened yet. This constant effort to control creates tension inside us. But when we begin to accept that life is always changing, something very peaceful happens. We stop fighting reality and we start flowing with it. Think of a leaf floating on a river. It does not struggle against the current. It does not demand the river to move differently. It simply allows itself to be carried, and because of that, it moves effortlessly. Letting go is like becoming that leaf. It is not weakness. It is not passivity. It is wisdom. It is the quiet understanding that some things cannot be changed, but our relationship to them can. When I slowly began practicing this in my own life, I noticed small but meaningful changes. My mind became quieter. My body felt less tense. I began sleeping more peacefully. And, most importantly, I started feeling a sense of freedom I had not experienced in years. The freedom did not come from fixing everything in my life. It came from releasing my need to hold on so tightly. And perhaps the most beautiful part of letting go is this: when we release what hurts us, we create space for something new, space for calm, space for healing, space for gentle happiness. Tonight, as you listen quietly, I invite you to consider something very simple. Is there something you have been holding on to for a long time? A memory, a regret, a worry about the future? You do not need to force yourself to release it right now. You do not need to solve anything. Just notice it, acknowledge that it exists, and gently remind yourself that you do not have to carry it forever. Like a tired traveler setting down a heavy bag, you can rest, and in that rest, something very natural begins to happen. Your mind becomes lighter, your breath becomes deeper, and your heart slowly remembers what peace feels like. Because peace is not something we must chase. It is something that quietly appears the moment we stop holding on so tightly. I still remember the night I arrived at the small mountain village. The air was cool, and the sky was so clear that the stars seemed closer than usual, as if they were quietly watching the world below. I had not planned to go there. In truth, I had been wandering for days, trying to escape a heaviness inside me that refused to fade. My heart felt like a room filled with echoes. No matter how far I traveled, those echoes followed me, reminding me of words I could not take back. Choices I wished I had made differently. And a goodbye that had come too suddenly. I told myself I was just tired, but deep down, I knew I was running from pain I did not know how to face as I walked through the quiet village that evening. I noticed a faint golden light glowing from a small wooden house at the edge of a forest. Something about that light felt warm and gentle, like an invitation. Without thinking too much, I walked toward it. When I reached the door, I hesitated. I had never been there before. I did not know who lived inside. But before I could decide whether to knock, the door slowly opened. An elderly man stood there, holding a lantern. His face was calm, his eyes soft and steady. As if he had been expecting someone, he looked at me for a moment and then smiled. "You must be very tired," he said quietly. I don't know why, but the moment he said those words, I felt something inside me loosen. It was the first time in a long while that someone had seen beyond my appearance and recognized the exhaustion I had been hiding. I nodded. He stepped aside and gently invited me in. Inside, the house was simple. There were no decorations, no signs of wealth, only a small table, 2 cushions, and the quiet scent of warm tea. He poured tea into 2 cups and handed one to me without asking any questions. We sat in silence for a while. At first, the silence felt uncomfortable. I was used to filling quiet moments with words, distractions, or noise, but this silence was different. It felt peaceful after a few minutes. He spoke again. "You are carrying something heavy," he said calmly. I looked down at the cup in my hands. The steam rose slowly, swirling in soft patterns. "I lost someone," I whispered, "and I keep thinking about all the things I should have said, all the things I should have done differently." The old man nodded gently, as if he had heard this story many times before. "Tell me," he asked softly, "if you hold a burning coal in your hand, what happens?" I frowned slightly. "It would hurt me. And if you keep holding it," he continued, "it would hurt more." He looked at me kindly. "Then why," he asked, "do you keep holding the burning coal of your past?" His words felt simple, but they struck something deep inside me. I had never thought of it that way. I had believed that holding on to my regret meant honoring the person I had lost. I believed that letting go would mean forgetting them. But at that moment, I realized something painful and true. I was not honoring the past. I was punishing myself with it. The old man stood up slowly and walked toward a small window. Outside, the wind was moving gently through the trees. "Look at those leaves," he said. I followed his gaze. The leaves were swaying softly, carried by the breeze. "Each leaf knows how to let go," he continued. When the season changes, it does not cling to the branch in fear. It simply releases and allows itself to fall. He paused for a moment, then added quietly, "Humans suffer because we try to hold on to every season of our lives, even when it is time to change." I felt tears forming in my eyes. I had spent so long fighting against what had already happened. I kept replaying the same memories, hoping somehow I could change them. But the truth was clear. No matter how tightly I held on, the past would never return. The old man came back and sat across from me, closing your hand tightly. He said, "Making a gentle fist feels like strength, but true strength is knowing when to open your hand." Slowly, he opened his palm. In that simple gesture, I understood something that words alone had never been able to teach me. Letting go is not losing. It is freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering. We sat together for a long time after that, without speaking. For the first time in months, the pain did not grow stronger. It grew quieter. It felt less like a sharp wound and more like a soft ache that could finally breathe. Before I left that night, I asked the old man one last question. How do I truly let go? I said. He smiled gently. You do not force it, he replied. You simply stop feeding it. He picked up an empty bowl and placed it on the table. If you stop pouring water into this bowl, what happens? It eventually becomes empty, I said. He nodded. The same is true for your pain. Stop feeding it with constant thoughts, regrets, and self-blame. And slowly, naturally, it will empty itself. As I stepped outside, the night felt different. The air seemed lighter. The stars looked softer. Nothing in the world had changed. The past was still the past, but something inside me had shifted. For the first time, I understood that healing does not come from erasing our memories. It comes from changing how we hold them. Somewhere behind me, the old man quietly closed the door, and the warm golden light faded. But the calm he had shared with me did not fade. It stayed, like a gentle warmth in my chest. And as I walked away, I realized that letting go is not a single moment. It is a quiet practice, a soft, patient unfolding, like a leaf slowly releasing its grip on the branch, trusting that even as it falls, it is not being lost. It is simply returning to peace. I remember a season in my life when everything felt stuck, as if time itself had slowed around me. Each day looked the same, and each night felt heavier than the one before. I was not running anymore like I used to, but I still carried something inside that refused to loosen its grip. It was not a single memory this time. It was something more subtle, a quiet resentment that had grown slowly over the years. It came from being hurt by someone I had trusted deeply. They had left without explanation, without apology, leaving behind words that echoed in my mind long after they were gone. I told myself I had moved on. I told others I had forgiven. But the truth was different. Every time I remembered them, my chest tightened. A small bitterness rose in my throat, and I felt the same old anger quietly burning beneath the surface. One evening, unable to sleep, I decided to walk along a narrow path that led to a river just outside the town. I had been there many times before, but that night the river felt different. The moonlight reflected on the water, creating long silver lines that moved slowly with the current. As I stood near the edge, she was holding a small wooden bowl in her hands, dipping it into the water again and again, then lifting it out and watching the water pour back into the river. At first, I thought she might be washing something, but as I watched more closely, I realized she was not washing anything at all. She was simply filling the bowl and then letting it empty. Curious, I walked closer. She noticed me and smiled softly, as if she had been expecting someone. "Can you tell me," she asked gently, holding up the bowl, "how I can keep this bowl full of river water forever?" I was confused by the question. "You can't," I said. "The water will always flow out." She nodded slowly. "Yes," she replied, "because the river is not meant to be held." The water shimmered briefly under the moonlight before spilling back into the river. "Life is like this river," she continued quietly. "Everything flows, moments, people, feelings. But we humans try to hold the river inside a bowl." Her words stirred something deep inside me. I thought of how tightly I had been holding my resentment, how I kept replaying what had happened, holding on to the pain as if it were something valuable that I could not afford to lose. "But why is it so hard to let go?" I asked softly. The old woman looked at me with gentle understanding. "Because holding on gives us the illusion of control. We believe that if we keep our anger, our hurt, or our resentment, we are protecting ourselves." She paused, then added, "But in truth, we are only keeping ourselves trapped." She placed the empty bowl in my hands. "Now, as you continue listening, I invite you to slowly shift your attention inward. There is nothing you need to do, nowhere you need to go, and nothing you need to change in this moment. Just allow yourself to settle gently into the place where you are right now. If you can, let your body relax a little more. Notice the surface beneath you supporting your weight. Feel how it holds you without effort, without judgment, without asking anything from you. You do not have to hold yourself up right now. You can simply rest. Take a slow, natural breath in, and then let it fall out softly, like a wave returning to the shore. Do not force your breathing. Let it find its own quiet rhythm. Just observe it, the gentle rise of your chest, the soft fall of your body as you exhale. Each breath is like a small reminder that you are here, alive in this moment, safe enough to rest. As you continue breathing slowly, begin to notice the places in your body where tension may still be hiding. Perhaps there is tightness in your forehead from thinking too much. Perhaps your jaw feels slightly clenched from unspoken words. Maybe your shoulders feel heavy from carrying invisible burdens for far too long. Without trying to fix anything, simply become aware. Imagine that your awareness is like a soft, warm light. Wherever you place this light, tension begins to loosen naturally. So gently bring this light to your forehead, allowing the muscles there to soften, like ice slowly melting under sunlight. Let the light move down to your eyes. Allow them to rest deeply, as if they are floating in calm water. Release any effort from your eyelids. There is nothing you need to watch right now. You can simply let them rest. Now bring this gentle awareness to your jaw. Notice if it is tight, and if it is, allow it to relax just a little. Imagine the tension there slowly dissolving, like mist fading in the morning air. Let your attention drift down to your shoulders. These shoulders have carried so much responsibilities, worries, expectations, and emotional weight that others may never see. Tonight, you do not need to carry all of that. Imagine placing a heavy bag down beside you. Feel your shoulders lowering slightly, becoming lighter, softer, freer. Now bring your awareness to your chest. This is where many of our emotions quietly live. Sadness, love, regret, hope, and longing. Sometimes this area feels tight because of everything we hold inside. As you breathe in, imagine that you are creating a small space inside your chest, a calm, open space where your feelings are allowed to exist without pressure. And as you breathe out, imagine releasing a small portion of whatever heaviness you have been holding. You do not need to release everything at once. Just a little. With each breath, slowly, gently. Now, let your attention move to your hands. Notice how they feel, perhaps warm, perhaps cool, perhaps completely neutral. These hands have held many things in life. They have held responsibilities, held onto memories, and sometimes held onto pain. For a moment, imagine that your hands are slowly opening, not physically, but in your mind, as if you are loosening your grip on something you have been holding tightly. You do not need to know exactly what that something is. It might be a worry, a regret, a disappointment, or even a fear about the future. Just imagine that with each exhale, your hands open a little more, and whatever you have been holding begins to rest gently outside of you. You are not throwing it away. You are simply choosing not to grip it anymore. Now, imagine yourself sitting beside a calm river at night. The water flows smoothly, reflecting soft moonlight. The air is still and peaceful. You are completely safe in this place. In your hands, you hold a small stone. This stone represents something that has been weighing on your heart, something you have been carrying for a long time. Notice its weight. Notice how tightly you have been holding it. And now, when you feel ready, imagine gently placing that stone into the river. Watch as it sinks slowly beneath the surface. The river does not resist it. The water simply receives it and continues to flow. Your breath is like that river. Each exhale carries away small pieces of tension, small fragments of pain, small traces of emotional weight. You do not need to force this process. Just allow it. Now, as you continue breathing, silently repeat these gentle reflections in your mind, allowing each one to settle softly within you. It is safe for me to rest. I do not need to carry everything tonight. What has passed can remain in the past. I allow my heart to become lighter. I allow my mind to become quiet. I am not defined by my pain. I am allowed to let go. With each slow breath, imagine your body sinking deeper into comfort. Imagine the space around you becoming softer, quieter, more peaceful. If thoughts appear, do not push them away. Let them drift by like clouds moving across the sky. You do not need to follow them. You do not need to analyze them. Simply notice them. And then return your attention gently to your breathing, in and out, slow and natural. As you continue resting in this calm awareness, remember something very simple and very true. You do not need to solve your entire life tonight. You do not need to understand everything. You do not need to fix the past. Right now, your only purpose is to rest, to breathe, and to allow your mind and body to soften. Imagine a gentle warmth spreading through your entire body, from the top of your head down to the tips of your toes. This warmth carries a quiet message. You are safe enough to relax. You are strong enough to release what you no longer need. And you are deserving of peace. Let this feeling stay with you now, as your breathing becomes even slower, even deeper, even more calm. Nothing needs to happen next. There is nowhere else you need to be. Just remain here, resting quietly, allowing the gentle flow of your breath to carry you into deeper and deeper stillness. Long ago, during a quiet period of my life, I stayed for several weeks in a small wooden hut at the edge of a vast forest. It was far from any town, far from noise, and far from the constant movement of people and responsibilities. I had gone there because my mind had become too full, and I needed a place where nothing demanded my attention. The hut stood beside a wide, slow-moving lake. During the day, the water reflected the sky like a perfect mirror. But at night, the lake became something else entirely. A deep, dark stillness that seemed to absorb every sound and every restless thought. On my first night there, I could not sleep. The silence felt unfamiliar. In the city, silence is never complete. There are always distant voices, passing cars, or the hum of electricity. But there, the silence was so deep that it felt almost alive. I lay awake, listening to my own breathing, noticing how loud it sounded in the stillness. My mind kept drifting back to worries, memories, and unfinished thoughts that had followed me into the forest. Eventually, unable to rest, I stepped outside. The air was cool and soft. The moon hung low above the lake, casting a gentle silver glow across the water. The surface of the lake was so calm that it looked like a sheet of glass dot as I stood there. I noticed an old man sitting near the water's edge. He did not move, and at first I wondered if he was simply a shadow formed by the trees. But then he spoke quietly. Without turning his head, "You cannot sleep," he said. His voice was calm, almost like the sound of wind passing through leaves. "No," I admitted softly. He nodded slightly. "Your mind is still running," he said, "like a horse that has not yet learned it can stop." I walked closer and sat a short distance away. For a while, neither of us spoke. We simply watched the lake together. After some time, he pointed toward the water. "Look carefully," he whispered. I focused on the surface of the lake. At first, I saw nothing unusual. It was perfectly still. "Tell me what you see," he said. "It is calm." I replied. He shook his head gently. "Look deeper." Slowly, I began to notice something I had missed before. The lake was not completely still. Tiny ripples moved across its surface, so small and slow that they were almost invisible. They came and went quietly, blending back into the stillness. "What do you notice now?" he asked. "There are small ripples," I said. He smiled faintly. "Yes," he whispered. "But do those ripples disturb the nature of the lake?" I thought about it. "No," I answered. "The lake is still calm overall." He nodded. "Your mind is like this lake," he said softly. "Thoughts are like ripples. They come, they move, and they fade. But the nature of your mind is not the ripples." He paused, letting the quiet settle between his words. "The nature of your mind," he continued, "is the still water beneath them." His words felt simple, but they changed the way I understood my restlessness. I had been trying to stop my thoughts completely, believing that peace meant having an empty mind, but watching the lake. I realized something gentle and comforting. The lake did not try to stop the ripples. It simply allowed them, and because it allowed them, the ripples never lasted long. We sat there for a long time, listening to the quiet sounds of the night, the distant call of an owl, the soft rustle of leaves, the steady rhythm of our breathing. Sleep comes naturally, the old man said after a while. When you stop chasing it. He picked up a small pebble from the ground and dropped it into the water. It created a circle of ripples that spread slowly outward, then gradually disappeared. Trying to force sleep, he said, is like throwing stones into a lake and expecting it to become calm. I watched as the water slowly returned to its stillness. So what should I do? I asked quietly. He looked at the lake once more. Do nothing, he replied. Just sit, just breathe, and trust that stillness will return on its own. That night, I stayed beside the lake for a long time, simply watching the water. I did not try to push away my thoughts. I did not try to control my breathing. I allowed everything to be exactly as it was. Slowly, something inside me began to shift. My thoughts became softer. My breathing became deeper. The tension in my body loosened without effort. It felt as though I was sinking gently into the same quiet stillness that surrounded the lake. Eventually, I returned to the hut and lay down. For the first time in many nights, I did not struggle with my thoughts. I did not fight the silence. I simply listened to the steady rhythm of my breath, in and out, slow and natural, and before I even realized it, sleep came quietly, like a soft wave reaching the shore. In the following days, I returned to the lake each evening. I would sit beside the water and watch the slow, endless movement of stillness and ripples. Over time, I began to understand something very peaceful, true. Rest is not the absence of thoughts. It is the absence of resistance. It is the gentle acceptance that everything in the mind, like everything in nature, moves in its own time, just as the lake does not fear the wind, and the sky does not fear passing clouds. We do not need to fear the movement of our thoughts. Beneath them, there is always a quiet, steady stillness waiting for us. And now, as you listen softly, imagine yourself sitting beside that same calm lake. The night is peaceful. The air is cool and comforting. The water reflects the moonlight like a gentle mirror. Your breathing is slow and steady. Any thoughts that appear are just small ripples on the surface, moving gently, fading naturally, without disturbing the deep stillness beneath. You do not need to stop them. You only need to rest in the quiet water below them. And as you continue to breathe slowly, calmly, softly, you may begin to feel your body sinking deeper into comfort, deeper into relaxation, deeper into the peaceful stillness that naturally carries you toward sleep as this quiet journey slowly comes to an end. I invite you to remain exactly where you are resting, breathing, and allowing your mind to stay soft and unhurried. There is nothing more you need to learn tonight, nothing you need to solve, and nothing you need to hold on to. You have already done enough simply by being here, by listening, by giving yourself permission to pause. Now, let your attention return gently to your breath once more. Notice how natural it feels. You do not have to control it. It flows on its own, just like a calm river moving steadily through the night. Each inhale brings a quiet sense of life into your body. Each exhale carries away small traces of tension, like leaves drifting slowly downstream. Feel how your body has softened since the beginning. Your forehead is calm. Your jaw is relaxed. Your shoulders are resting comfortably, no longer carrying the invisible weight they held before. Your chest rises and falls slowly, creating a gentle rhythm that soothes your entire nervous system. And your mind, which may have once felt crowded with thoughts, now feels quieter, like a peaceful sky after the clouds have passed. As you continue resting, imagine a soft darkness surrounding you, not an empty darkness, but a warm, protective one, like being wrapped in a gentle blanket of night. This darkness is safe. It asks nothing from you. It simply holds you in quiet comfort. Within this calm space, allow these gentle affirmations to drift slowly through your mind. Like soft whispers carried on the wind, I am safe in this moment. I allow my body to rest deeply. I release the weight of today. I do not need to carry yesterday anymore. My mind is becoming quieter with every breath. My heart is becoming lighter with every exhale. It is okay for me to let go. It is okay for me to relax completely. It is okay for me to drift into sleep. Now imagine yourself lying beside that calm lake. Once more, the same still water, reflecting a soft silver moon. The air is cool and peaceful. The world around you is quiet and slow. There is no urgency here, no pressure, no expectations. Only stillness. You notice that the lake remains calm even when small ripples appear. And in the same way, your mind can remain calm even when thoughts pass through it. You do not need to follow those thoughts. You do not need to push them away. Simply allow them to float past, like distant clouds moving gently across a quiet night sky. Your breathing is now slower than before, deeper, more steady. With each exhale, imagine your body sinking slightly deeper into the surface beneath you, as if you are being gently supported by something soft and comforting. Your arms feel heavy and relaxed. Your legs feel warm and still. Your entire body is entering a state of deep, natural rest. And as you continue drifting, remind yourself gently, I have done enough for today. I am allowed to rest now. Nothing else is required of me. Peace is already here. Let that simple truth settle quietly inside you. You do not need to chase peace. You do not need to search for it. It has always been within you, beneath the noise, beneath the worries, beneath the endless movement of thoughts. And tonight, you have given yourself the gift of returning to it. If any last thoughts appear, imagine placing them softly onto the surface of the lake, watching them float farther and farther away until they disappear into the calm darkness. There is nothing left to hold, nothing left to carry, only the slow, steady rhythm of your breath, guiding you gently toward deeper and deeper sleep. And now, as your mind becomes softer and your body becomes heavier, allow yourself to drift naturally into rest. The night will hold you. The quiet will protect you, and peace will remain with you as you slowly, gently fall asleep